Hi folks, how you doing? Rev Paul here from Trinity Anglican Church, and it's this week's message from, well, I'm not in the truck, but those taillights out there, that's the truck. So I'm going to call this the message from relatively close to the truck. That makes sense for everybody else? Works for me. I wanted to do something a little bit differently today because I want to talk a little bit about something that has been coming up over the course of the last couple of days of my renovations here at our house in Scotland. I'm bringing you into one of the rooms that's getting ready for drywall, not quite ready yet, but getting pretty close, because I wanted to show you something. So this wall over here that you can sort of see past the ladder, this is what the original walls of the house looked like from the inside. They're this old structure and weird patterns of boards and so on. Certainly not by any means up to building code today. Now this has all been insulated and all that kind of thing, so it's all ready to be drywall to be put on. The problem being that if we got close to all of these boards, you'd find that some are an inch out this way, some are an inch out that way. None of them are on 16-inch centers. They're all kind of all over the place. And as a result of that, what I've had to do in lots of different places is do this. So I build a new structure on the outside of the wall. Now this is just with some 1x4s, so it's not structurally sound by any means, but it'll do the job of supporting what comes next, supporting the pretty part that's going to come next. Now, I show you this today because there have been lots of times when I've been in ministry, when I've been talking to folks, that they sort of feel that they're right here. Right? Their Christian journey has been kind of not quite in line. There have been lots of times when they've been not quite straight, not quite square, not quite the way that they want to be. And they find themselves, lots of folks using that joke, well, if I ever crossed the threshold of a church, I'm sure I'd burst into flames. Those kinds of comments, right? Well, I want to tell you that, you know what? Every single one of us at some point in our lives has been right here. We've been in that place where we want to look pretty. We want to look like a good Christian. We want to look like we're doing it right, but our bones just aren't in the right spot, right? Our structure isn't quite in the right place. And there are times that we have to come to God and we have to say to God, can you do us a favor? Can you take us and use these structures, use these extra pieces that you can add to our journey to help us get ourselves ready for what you would have us do next? There's nothing wrong with being here in our journey, but there's also nothing wrong with admitting that we need God to help us get to here. So I would encourage you as we continue our Christian journey together to take those times where we felt that we're not quite good enough, that we're not quite in that place where God would accept us or love us or take us, and recognize that God is willing to do this with us. Take those times, take the time to help trim us up in the way that he wants us to be trimmed in order to be that better face of Christianity in the world. So I want you to consider that from this week's message from, as I said, pretty close to the truck, as we consider our Christian faith and what it means to us and what our journey lies ahead. Now, a couple of things that I want to share with you, just a couple of announcements of events that are coming up. We're heading into February pretty quickly. Here we are, the last Sunday in January. This Sunday, we're going to be celebrating with the Altar Guild, the Chancel Guild. We're going to have an opportunity to encourage the congregation to see the work of the Chancel Guild, and we're going to take some time to commission some new Chancel Guild members and also to just pause and pray and give thanks for the work that they do in the church. We also, this coming week, have our regular Bible studies and all of that kind of thing happening as we usually do. And as February starts to roll in, there's going to be lots of other events that are coming up, new Bible studies coming as we approach Lent and get closer and closer to that. But also we have our vestry meeting coming up at the end of February, and all of those kinds of things, of course, will be announced in our bulletin. But before we get there, we have the big event coming soon, Super Bowl Sunday, as we continue to take on that challenge that we threw to St. George's and see which of our communities can come up with the most soup. So I would encourage you, as you feel able, to pick up some soup, pick up what you need to be able to offer our ministry, to be able to slowly, quietly, and in a very Christian way, show St. George's who has the most soup heart as we gather for Super Bowl Sunday. Some folks have been asking, what's the date? That's February 9th. That's 2 weeks from Sunday, as we prepare ourselves to celebrate and maybe promote which team is going to win the bowl but most importantly, promote the work of the food banks and Trinity Community Table as we support them with our gathered offering on that Sunday. For right now, I think I'm going to wrap things up. I would encourage you to keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. God's blessing to all of you from this week's message from relatively close to the truck. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.